ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
The spotlight's on. Time to stake your claim for Monday Night Football's Hall of Fame. The Texans and Ravens go toe-to-toe. They all turn it up when they play in this show. It's an all-out brawl in the AFC. What a football game this could turn out to be. Tell me if you're ready for a party. Let me hear it if you want to win. You know it's time to ball. We about to kick it off. And all y'all let the games begin. Oh yeah. Houston, get ready. Baltimore, get ready. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party. Stage is set. Let's get it kick-started. Yeah. Get your game face on. The crowd's getting psyched. Oh yeah, all my riding friends are here on Monday night.
And they're ready for Monday Night Football here in Baltimore. The Ravens haven't hosted a Monday night game since 2012. Only the Texans and Jaguars have gone longer without hosting a Monday night game. Speaking of the Jaguars and the Bills right now occupy the two wild card spots in the AFC, but the Ravens with a win tonight would go to 6-5. They would actually bump Buffalo out of that second wild card spot because they'd have a better conference record. Bill O'Brien in his 4th season. John Harbaugh in his 10th here in Baltimore. Houston won the toss and deferred, so Baltimore receives the opening kickoff from Kaimi Fairbairn. Here's Chris Moore for the Ravens special teams. We mentioned one of the best special teams units year in and year out. And a good kickoff return by Moore out to the 30-yard line. So that's where they begin. 1st and 10 led by Joe Flacco in his 10th season out of the University of Delaware. 5.4 yards per pass attempt, dead last in the National Football League. That touchdown to interception ratio is 31st out of 35 qualifying quarterbacks. Plan tonight is to try to get the ball down the field. Flacco throws on the run, and a diving catch made by Chris Moore at the 38-yard line, a gain of 8.
They got to throw the ball better. I like seeing Flacco get a high percentage completion to start this game. But remember, Sean, Flacco missed all of training camp. He's just now rounding into shape, and here they are in a no-huddle offense.
And another quick pass. His receiver fell down. And a diving attempt made by Jonathan Joseph for the interception. It was intended for Jeremy Maclin.
Those plays like that you just can't explain. It's been so inconsistent. Maclin, quick out, he just falls down, and you're lucky this ball's not intercepted.
They go quickly to the line for 3rd down and 2. Flacco in trouble, throws a wounded duck incomplete. And there's Clowney introducing himself early to Joe Flacco.
Didn't take him long to make his presence felt. He goes right around Stanley at left tackle with a beautiful inside move. Got to keep an eye on Stanley. He missed last week's game with a concussion, and that man Jadeveon Clowney having an incredible season.
Here's Sam Cook, veteran punter for Baltimore, Pro Bowler in 2015. Bruce Ellington back deep. And a fair catch made at the 10-yard line. So here comes Tom Savage, the starting quarterback for Houston in his 4th year. Was the starter in their opener against Jacksonville for a half. They lost that game. He was benched at the half for Deshaun Watson, sat on the bench for 6 games. Then when Watson went down with a knee injury, he came back. They lost his next 2 starts and won his first start of the year last week at home against Arizona. .6'4", 230-pounder from the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. They bring Braxton Miller in motion, tighter to the line of scrimmage, and it's Lamar Miller dropped for a 2-yard loss.
Tom Savage, you said it, he's in his 4th year with Bill O'Brien. He knows this offense extremely well. And in his 4th straight start, it's time for Savage to pick up his play. He's got to take better care of the football. He's fumbled it 6 times, and he's got to start faster. They have not scored a point in the first quarter with Savage at quarterback.
9-7 each of his first 3 years for Bill O'Brien. 4-6 this year. In the playoffs the last 2 years. Work to do if they're going to get back
12
this
players
year.
on the field with the snap imminent on the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Brad Allen, the referee.
Carl Davis, number 94, was the 12th man, and this is what the Ravens have done. Their recipe to success on defense is let punter Sam Cook back our opponent up, and in a backed up situation, let's get off the field immediately and get the ball back to Flacco.
The ball out to the 14-yard line. They bring Kendall Lamb in as an extra blocker. And Savage tight spiral on target. DeAndre Hopkins shoved out of bounds out at the 36-yard line.
Every week Hopkins gets your best corner. This week it's Jimmy Smith in type one-on-one coverage, and that's an excellent throw by Savage, backed up on his own 7-yard line. And Hopkins wins in transition. He gets out of his break at full speed effortlessly. Nice work.
He's their go-to guy clearly. Tom Savage says Hopkins the best receiver in the league. 23-yard gain. They marked it at the 37. Lamar Miller back to the line, and that's it. Part of the adversity of this season, Dwayne Brown, their all-pro left tackle, held out for 6 games, played 1, then they traded him to Seattle. So Chris Clark is the left tackle now. They're without Will Fuller tonight, their speedy 2nd-year wide receiver, who certainly helps Hopkins when he's active. Fuller gets attention with that speed. He's out with a rib injury. They're hoping for more. They plan to target Braxton Miller more. And there he is, making the catch, just his 8th of the year, and then he slammed down. That could easily be a flag, and here it comes on Matt Judon.
Clearly forward progress was
Personal
stopped.
foul, unnecessary roughness, number 99, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic. 1st down.
Judon's one of those 2nd-year players I really like. Here he is dropping in coverage against this no-back set. Forward progress is stopped. That was unnecessary. Good call by the official, and that's 2 penalties on this Raven defense, and Baltimore has been one of the least penalized teams in football. And just like that, the Texans with a 1st down in great field position.
The penalty walk-off takes them into Baltimore territory to the 46-yard line. Lamar Miller, the running back. He'd been splitting time with Deontay Foreman, the rookie out of Texas, but he blew out an Achilles last week in their win against Arizona. Savage on target, and it's Bruce Ellington down inside the 20-yard line to the 17.
Well, the play action pass is going to fool the inside linebackers. There's no pass rush whatsoever, and Savage shows great touch over the linebackers, under the safety, and there's Ellington, a man that has found a home here in Houston, and they need Ellington to step up with the absence of Will Fuller, who's still out tonight.
Ellington coming off the best game of his career. He had 6 catches, a career high in their win against Arizona in Houston last Sunday. A 29-yard gain. Looked like the Ravens were offside, although Carl Davis is saying he was drawn across by Kendall Lamb.
Prior to the snap, delay a game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
And Dean Pease, defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, an ex-New England Patriot with Bill O'Brien, are going to go at each other tonight. Pease will call the plays for the Ravens, and he's had experience calling plays against Bill O'Brien when they were with the Patriots together. And in the red zone, Dean Pease uses a lot of uncommon coverages that are difficult to decipher.
Pease and O'Brien together for 3 years, 2007 through 09 on Bill Belichick's staff. Savage given time again, short throw. Braxton Miller, who had been targeted only 13 times all year, has 2 catches, and he got ripped down by Jimmy Smith. Dean Pease defense, one of the best in the league. 3 young players up front and outstanding linebackers. He says C.J. Mosley's the best linebacker in football. It's a veteran safety. They've stayed healthy. And the newcomer Tony Jefferson, free agent from Arizona, has been a big help. 2nd and 12. Savage 4 for 4 to start the game. Bunch to the right. They fake the quick throw there. And now Ellington in trouble. That looked doomed from the start. This fast Raven defense reacted quickly to drop it for a loss.
They run to the ball. It's a credit to them. And head coach John Harbaugh has been able to get maximum effort from his defense as he's been here. But this is a great battle.
Yes.
3rd down in the red zone. Both men have great respect for one another. And on 3rd down and long, I expect Bill O'Brien to be somewhat conservative here. Love to get some points on the board in your opening possession.
They are in field goal range for Kaimi Fairbairn. Ravens crowding the line of scrimmage. They rush 5. Savage with time, going for Hopkins, and a flag thrown. Tight coverage on Brandon Carr. That flag is likely on Brandon.
Sure is. And they try to run a pick play and get Hopkins on a swing route down the
Pass
boundary.
interference. Defense number 24. By rule, the ball is placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic. 1st down.
Was not playing the ball in the estimation of the official. That's a tight call, but I believe they got Carr for not looking back and playing a football. Another penalty on these Ravens, and John Harbaugh can't believe it.
3rd penalty on this drive. This one a 19-yarder. Ball at the 4-yard line. Take the inside handoff to Lamar Miller. Savage running out of time, throws it away.
Play action pass, and nobody bit. Didn't fool the Raven defense. And so far, I'm impressed with Tom Savage. As you see, Lendl, number 63, Kendall Lamb checking in. He's an offensive tackle that they use as a tight end in some of these short yardage and goal line situations.
On 2nd and goal, Miller barely touched as he goes into the end zone for a Houston touchdown.
Well, Tom Savage answered the bell with a beautiful opening drive touchdown. They run right behind Allen and Giacomini at right guard and right tackle, and Lamar Miller blasts across the goal line to get Houston started. I have not seen anybody take the ball 90 yards against this Raven defense, and that's got to be a huge confidence boost for the young quarterback, Tom Savage.
It's just the second 90-yard or more touchdown drive by Houston in the last 2 seasons. Week 2 of this year at Cincinnati, they marched 94 yards for a touchdown. Didn't do it at all last year. Lamar Miller the score. They go 90 yards in 9 plays. Took 5:28 off the clock. Savage 5 out of 6 on the drive.
And these Houston Texans, they just will not crumble in adversity. They have lost so many players that have been through so much heartache. And every week they compete until the end. And this is a great start, and it's a credit to Bill O'Brien and his leadership of this Texan football team.
He seems perplexed as to the delay. Of course, all scoring plays are reviewed, but I don't know what the question was about this one.
I don't either.
Remember when replay first started, the idea was to correct obvious glaring errors? It's gotten so far away from that now.
Yeah, it would bother me if I was a kicker.
There's Kaimi Fairbairn. And the extra point up and good. Great start for the Texans on the road in Baltimore on Monday night.
Are you ready for some football?
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Sprint. Works for me. Ray Lewis did tremendous work for the Baltimore Ravens over his 17-year career. He was just named a semifinalist for the 2018 class for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. 13 times a Pro Bowler, twice the NFL Defensive Player of the Year, and of course the MVP of Super Bowl 35. Center of that great defense that overwhelmed the Giants to win that Super Bowl. I think he goes in as a first ballot Hall of Famer.
There's no doubt about that. I believe he could probably show up and play tonight if he's needed. He was some kind of football player, and I just wish young people could have got to see him practice. The tone that he set for so many years was amazing.
Terrell Suggs has replaced him as that tone setter for Baltimore. Rough start for that highly touted Baltimore defense. 3 penalties helped Houston on that opening touchdown drive. And Fairbairn's kickoff is a touchback. Chris Moore took a knee.
Well, they go to DeAndre Hopkins to get the party started. He wins in transition. He beats Jimmy Smith, big play. Then a penalty on Matt Judon, 15 yards, personal foul. Play action pass, beautiful touch to Ellington for a big gain. And then the pass interference on 3rd down against Brandon Carr was costly. It allowed Lamar Miller to thresh it off the right side. And the Houston Texans, the defending AFC South champs, not going away quietly.
Here's Alex Collins with the carry for Baltimore. And he's out near the 30-yard line. Gain of 4, as Lisa Salter said. Waived by Seattle at the end of training camp. Signed to Baltimore's practice squad. Then when they had injuries at running back, he got the chance, and he's capitalized, averaging 5 yards per carry, although that number has been coming down in recent weeks. Danny Woodhead, in his first year as a Raven, missed 8 games due to a hamstring injury. He's in at running back. Flacco gave it to him, and Woodhead collared about a yard short of the first down. There's the rest of the Ravens offense. As John mentioned, the offensive line should be helped tonight by the return of Ronnie Stanley, who did not play in Green Bay last week because of a concussion. And they certainly need more from the wide receiver group, some veteran names there. They've averaged collectively, the wideouts, 96 yards per game receiving, 3rd worst in the league. Only Buffalo and Chicago has got less production from its wide receiver group than Baltimore. 3rd and 1. They go to a pass, and a good catch by Wallace on a ball thrown behind him. And Wallace into Houston territory to the 42-yard line.
That's an aggressive call on 3rd and 1. Joe Flacco started. Play action pass. It's a slant route to Mike Wallace, and you eliminate the underneath coverage with the threat of the run. You allow a fast receiver like Wallace to go to work. First down, Baltimore.
Just his 25th catch of the year. Wallace had 72 last year in his first season in Baltimore. Flacco swings it out wide, and Alex Collins buried immediately behind the line of scrimmage by Brennan Scarlett. Here's the Houston defense. Young up front. Heath in his 2nd year. Dunn and Reed are also 2nd-year players. Scarlett, McKinney, Cunningham, the rookie, and Clowney, the linebacking core. Cunningham played a lot this season out of Vanderbilt, and a veteran secondary. They welcomed the newcomer Marcus Gilchrist, who was a New York Jet last year, overcome a serious knee injury to be a starter now for Houston. Loss of 3 on the last play, and Collins going in reverse and swung down by Jadeveon Clowney.
You got to see this if you're the Baltimore Ravens. When they move Clowney to inside linebacker, he's not in there to play catch. He's going to blitz every time. and he times his snap count perfectly. And defensive coordinator Mike Vrabel continues to move Clowney all over this defense, and you must account for him. But when he plays inside linebacker, he's blitzing every single time, and you got to pick him up. Somebody has to be responsible for the run through. Great work by Clowney.
He went right by the center, Ryan Jensen, like he wasn't even there. Loss of 6 on that play. Only Chandler Jones of Arizona has more tackles for a loss now than Clowney. Macklin skips out of bounds, way short of the first down. The Boo Birds are out early tonight in Baltimore for this dreadful offense.
Well, they're tired of this pass offense. They just can't seem to make any big plays whatsoever. The offensive line has struggled. They've had numerous injuries and inconsistency at wide receiver. And Joe Flacco, after missing training camp, has not played at a high level.
Bruce Ellington back for the punt from Sam Cook. The Texans signed Bruce Ellington's cousin Andre Ellington this week after he was waived by Arizona, but Andre Ellington is not active tonight. And Bruce makes a fair catch at the 10. Can they go 90 yards again? They've already done it once for a 7-0 lead. Houston on offense for the second time. They've already marched 90 yards for a touchdown. Here they go again. Lamar Miller, starting from his 10, took it out to the 28-yard line and a first down.
This well-publicized Raven defense has got to pick it up. They're just going to slant the ball right off the left side, and nobody's there. It's a nickel blitz. You saw number 21 Webb come off the edge, but there was nobody home. Too easy.
On the delay, Lamar Miller again, just across the line, and that's it. Well, some here in Baltimore, Coach, were asking me, how good is the defense for Baltimore really? They throw 3 shutouts already this year, 3 shutouts in 10 games for Dean Pease. And we talked in the pregame, that's historically good, just the third team since 1985 to do that. But they came against Cincinnati at the beginning of the year when that offense was really struggling. And they came against Miami and Green Bay playing with backup quarterbacks, Matt Moore and Brett Hundley. So some here locally aren't convinced they're as good as the stats would tell you. They haven't played well so far tonight. That's another first down on the catch by C.J. Fedorowicz.
Well, the one thing with this Raven team, and particularly the defense, is they have been inconsistent. They didn't play well against Jacksonville. They had some bad moments against the Chicago Bears. Who are the Baltimore Ravens? You're down 7-0 on Monday Night Football. Time for them to pick it up.
7 first downs already for Houston. Lamar Miller across the 40-yard line. One difference for Houston on offense this year, Bill O'Brien is now the play caller. He shared the duties last year with George Gotze. He was the offensive coordinator. Gotze no longer on the staff, and Bill really is his own offensive coordinator.
You know what? He's having a lot more fun, too. He's great at this. This is what got him this job. He's an outstanding X&O offensive play caller, and good for him. He's having a lot more fun. Hands are all over this offense. Fun to watch.
Really showed his creativity when Savage was replaced at halftime of the first game by Deshaun Watson. They put in a lot of plays to take advantage of Watson's skills. That play blown dead. There was movement along the left end of the Houston offensive line.
False start. Offense number 74. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
But you know, he's had to adapt to a lot of different quarterbacks as a head coach. It's incredible how many different men he has used. And when you go from Tom Savage to Deshaun Watson, he changed gears completely. They started running plays with Watson I have never seen before. And then Watson got hurt. They've got to adjust again. Back to Savage, who's a pocket passer. Very hard to do.
Trying to set up a screen. It's batted out of the air and incomplete. Patrick Owasso, inside linebacker in his second year out of Portland State. Another one of those undrafted players in the Baltimore organization who has flourished.
So many second-year players. They're going to see Owasso 48 on a blitz. Reject this screen pass. The credit to this Raven coaching staff. Every year they seem to have an inside linebacker that's undrafted that comes out of nowhere. Zachary Orr, Bart Scott, Jameel McClain, and now you see Owasso.
This crowd fully engaged for the first time tonight. They've had little to cheer for since the game started, and that one's batted out of the air and incomplete. Zadarius Smith knocked it down.
Athletic. They show a lot of different looks. And right at the last second, Smith with that left paw rejects the football. And here's Shane Leckler. I drafted Shane Leckler back when
dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Exactly. Still going strong. He can still hit it.
At age 41, one of the great punters in the history of the league. Perhaps on his way to the Hall of Fame. Lardarius Webb makes a fair catch. Line of scrimmage will be the 21. Can the Ravens find a way to handle Clowney? They haven't done it so far. Seems hard to believe, but Devion Clowney already in his 4th season out of the University of South Carolina. He was the #1 overall pick in the 2014 draft, but struggled in his first 2 years, largely due to injury. Missed 15 games, had just 4.5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, but he has certainly turned it around now that he's healthy. He's missed only 2 games the last 2 seasons. And he's second behind only Chandler Jones of Arizona in tackles for loss during that time. In the Pro Bowl a year ago, we said at the top of the telecast, some were ready to say he was a bust.
Yeah.
Some said they should have picked Khalil Mack instead of him. Wrong.
Watch that inside move early, Sean. He beat Stanley easy. And then he lined him up at inside linebacker, and he rejected this running play. Jadeveon Clowney can line up anywhere on the football field, and he plays extremely hard. He's going to make a lot of money. I think he's going to be the highest paid non-quarterback in football in just a little bit of time. This guy's really come into his own.
And he's doing this damage without the benefit of playing alongside J.J. Watt, the 3-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year. We lost him for the year for the 2nd year in a row. Got a tibial plateau fracture. 4-man rush, well blocked by the Ravens. Danny Woodhead ducks underneath for a first down across the 30-yard line.
Well, if Houston plays that coverage, they're going to check the ball down to Woodhead all night. Watch middle linebacker McKinney. He's out of there. This is old-fashioned Tampa, too. He's protecting those 2 safeties. Woodhead replaces them. And Flacco is going to look for that coverage all night when he sees it. He's going to throw the ball to his backs. He does that a lot.
Some feel that he really isn't even looking down the field. That's another short throw and an incomplete pass. Trying to get it to Mike Wallace, broken up by Jonathan Joseph. Ravens offensive coordinator is Marnie Morningweg, the former head coach of the Detroit Lions.
They need some big plays in this passing game. I call it VPP, the vertical pass production. And they used to have it in Baltimore with the power pitcher Joe Flacco. He used to take shots. I have not seen him have much success at all throwing the ball down the field.
He displayed that big arm downfield accuracy when they won the Super Bowl after the 2012 season. But he hasn't been the same since, really before or since, to the point where some now wonder if he just caught lightning in a bottle for those 4 or 5 weeks in the postseason of 2012, because he's been pretty ordinary since.
Well, the offensive line is not nearly the same as 2012 either, and these injuries on the offensive line are killing Baltimore.
Ronnie Stanley, the left tackle, down right now. 2012 was Joe Flacco's 5th season in the NFL. He caught fire in the postseason. He had a passer rating of more than 100 and did not throw an interception in 4 games against the Colts, Broncos, Patriots, and 49ers as they won Super Bowl 47 in New Orleans. But outside of that stretch, He hasn't been so super. In fact, that was the only time in his career he had a 100+ passer rating in 4 straight games, and he hasn't gone 4 straight games without throwing an interception since that historic postseason run in 2012 into 13 when he was the Super Bowl MVP.
And he's going to have to do it with a new cast. They've moved James Hurst to left tackle, and Luke Bowanko is checked in at left guard. That doesn't help matters.
The way they played last week in Green Bay without Stanley, and right away Flacco is sacked, and there is a flag down as well. Crowd thought there were some extracurriculars. The whistles were blowing, but the Texans continue to make a move on Flacco.
Well, Clowney goes inside, and there's Jensen at center. No match for Jadeveon Clowney. I don't care
Holding.
who plays
Offense,
quarterback.
number 68. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
This offensive line has had a number of injuries, and they're just not blocking well enough, run or pass, and that's a big part of Joe Flacco's problems. But Jadeveon Clowney has ruined 3 straight series. They got to find him, and they got to deal with him much better than they have in this first quarter.
5 straight games of the sack, longest active streak in the league. 4th down at 18, minute to go in this first quarter. Chris Thompson is back for the punt from Sam Cook. Muffed by Thompson, and the Texans get it. Preston Deku, and then a late flag comes down.
Against Baltimore. But Thompson, my goodness. Texans dodged a bullet there.
There is no foul for unnecessary roughness on the play. The ball was muffed by the receiving team and recovered by the receiving team. 1st down.
Boy, Chris Thompson, rookie out of Florida. Ball bounced right off his chest.
Ooh,
off his head.
Helmet. That did look like Deku was having a hard time corralling it in as he was on the ground. Originally they threw a flag for a personal foul, and then they picked it up. So here's Tom Savage again after a 55-yard punt by Cook. Alfred Blues now the backup for Lamar Miller, with Foreman out for the rest of his rookie season with the Achilles tear.
And the Houston Texans mixing it up. Not only personnel and formation, but they're mixing up the tempo, and they're mixing in some no-huddle offense, which has kept the Ravens off balance here early.
They bring Kendall Lamb back in again as an extra blocker. C.J. Fedorowicz has had an injury-filled season, 7 games missed with a concussion, and there's Suggs slamming Savage to the turf back inside the 10-yard line.
Well, the backside guard, Jeff Allen, number 79, had no chance. Suggs did not take the fake. T-Sizzle still getting it done after 15 years.
On to the second quarter here in Baltimore on a beautiful night. Clear skies, the temperature in the low 50s, no breeze. And we'll see if Suggs can get after the quarterback. Can the Texans get the ball to DeAndre Hopkins on 3rd down and 15? Ravens showing blitz. They do get it quickly to Hopkins on a screen. And he's tackled around the ankles by C.J. Mosley, the 4th-year linebacker out of Alabama. Been to 2 Pro Bowls in his first 3 years.
Shane Leckler. 2 very good veterans. Shane Leckler punting the ball to Lardarius Webb, longtime Raven. See if Webb can give Baltimore good field position.
Leckler's gross punting average for his career is 47.5 yards. That is best in the history of the league. That was not one of his best. Out of bounds, far sideline, close to midfield. Payton Man of the Year award presented by Nationwide recognizes NFL players for their excellence on and off the field. Benjamin Watson is a past nominee for the award. 2015 as member of the Saints. Very interesting man. He's published a couple of books, one of them entitled Under Our Skin, about race relations in the United States. He's toured the country talking about that subject. He has a foundation, the One More Foundation, which supports efforts to combat human trafficking and domestic violence. Alex Collins, the ball carrier. Zach Cunningham made the tackle. A good field position for Baltimore after just a 34-yard punt by Leckler.
I'd like to see Baltimore take some shots. First down, this field position. Got to wake up this vertical pass offense. Where is Mike Wallace? He has been in this league a very good deep ball receiver, but haven't seen it much lately.
There's so much attention on Flacco with the difficulties his offense. He is the quarterback. That's the way it works. He throws a deep ball with nobody out there. It was Kevin Johnson from nearby Clarksville, Maryland, nearest fort for the Houston Texans, and there is a flag down.
Holding. Defense number 55. 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Well, McKinney, number 55, gets called for the penalty. Wow. I didn't see anything there. Clearly, Macklin, Flacco not on the same page. I have no idea what they called on McKinney. 6'4", 250-pound middle linebacker. He's taken over for Brian Cushing. You'll see a green dot on the back of his helmet. He's got to do all the communicating with his teammates. It's new to him, but defensive coordinator Mike Vrabel says he's really picked it up.
Interesting formation. Alex Collins swung down by Brennan Scarlett. Another player getting more of an opportunity this year because of injury to others. Second-year man out of Stanford.
I like that guy, Scarlett. 57, Scarlett. He's going to come on the backside and get this done. You'll see Clowney on the right side, number 90. He strings it out for Scarlett. But did you know Scarlett started his career at Cal?
I did.
He played at Cal for 4 years, and then you transfer to Stanford? That doesn't even sound American. I got to meet this guy, Scarlett.
I'm sure it didn't please the folks at Cal. One of the great rivalries in college sports. Houston already with 4 tackles for a loss. Flacco plenty of time. Now he takes it down and goes running. Shoved out by Scarlett. The crowd wants a flag. There is none. Just looked worse perhaps than it was because Joe hit the deck over there.
Joe got crushed a few weeks ago against Miami on a scramble, and Scarlett. It's legal. A lot of the biggest hits occur on the sideline. Now third down is 6. They've got to find Clowney, and they've got to get some help because they have not been able to deal with Jadeveon Clowney yet.
Benjamin Watson, the move man, the tight end, back shoulder throw intended for Brashad Perryman and incomplete. Not a well thrown ball. Jonathan Joseph had the coverage.
Well, Joseph can play. 33 years old. It's bump and run coverage. It's a back shoulder fade, and the ball lands 5 yards out of bounds. You're not going to get any PI calls. You're not going to get any completions with that type of execution. And here's Cook, one of the best down it punters in football, and a new returner.
They dropped one that stopped about 2 inches from the goal line in Green Bay. There's a fake. Cook throws, and it is caught for a first down. Chris Moore made the catch. We mentioned the outstanding special teams of Baltimore year in and year out, among the best in the National Football League, and they make a big play for the Ravens tonight.
Well, he just picks the ball up and throws it to Moore, a good receiver and a great special teams man. And Marcus Williams, number 40, did not expect it. Jerry Rosberg, the special teams coach, does it as well as any man in the league, and Cook with a great throw. Chris Moore, they call him Scoop and Score Moore. He scooped 2 balls and returned them for touchdowns a year ago. Makes another impact play for Jerry Rosberg special teams.
As fine an assistant coach as there is in any role in the league, I think. You just look at the track record. They're always among the best. You can tell by that smile, one of the really good guys in the league, too. Joe Flacco, the line of scrimmage, the 19. Catch made over the middle by Nick Boyle, and the tight end lunges down to the 10 for a 9-yard gain. Rick Gosselin's a terrific sports writer for the Dallas Morning News. For many years, he has put together a rating of all the special teams units around the league. Judges every team in 22 different special teams categories, compiles it all together. And the Ravens have been in the top 5 in the National Football League in those rankings, which are well regarded by the teams around the league. Each of the last 5 years, they're the only team in the league that can say that. There's John Harbaugh, special teams coach in his past in Philadelphia. Buck Allen getting shoved to the goal line. And is he in the end zone? Yes, touchdown, Baltimore.
Credit Jerry Rosburg for igniting the team. And they run the ball behind their rookie 290-pound fullback, Patrick Ricard. Ricard is a rookie out of Maine. He plays defensive tackle and fullback. And Buck Allen, the former USC Trojan with help from all kinds of teammates, will not quit. That's old school Raven football. I love it. Look at the effort by Allen. Here comes Stanley. Here comes Max Williams. There's Jensen. That looked like the longest yard. Yes. That's how it's done. Good effort by Baltimore.
They got 22 yards on the fake punt. Allen, the 10-yard touchdown.
Ruling on the field of a touchdown is under further review.
Oh, boy.
Well, gutsy decision by John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh and Bill Belichick are the only current head coaches in the NFL who were once head special teams coaches in the league. We mentioned Jerry Rosburg. We look at the replay to see if Buck Allen was in the end zone. Tough to tell in that.
It's hard to find Buck Allen.
Pile of bodies. And the field ruling was touchdown. So unless there's something clear to overturn it, it'll stand. But for many years, John Harbaugh has said to me, Coach, you need to see Jerry Rosburg in front of the team. So last night, they were nice enough to let me come over to their team hotel, sit in on some of their team meetings. Jerry Rosburg in front of that special teams group. I wish, first of all, I was articulate as he is, but the room was captivated. You know, the attention to detail, the rapport he has with the players. He told some great motivational stories.
Yep.
You know, with Harbaugh and Belichick, that's pretty good pedigree. Why isn't this guy being mentioned for head coaching jobs around the National Football League?
Jerry has been. Hopefully he gets a chance. Hopefully he gets a chance, because he has made a huge impact for 10 years here in Baltimore. And you got to give Harbaugh credit for hiring a great staff. Not only Rosburg, you see Dean Peace. They've got a collection of really good coaches here, and there's one of the best surely in the NFL. How about this Ricard? Two-way player out of Maine. Gives this offense a physical presence. And here's Tucker, a man who just is hard to explain how good he is.
Yeah. Makes the special teams coach look pretty good when you never miss. Tucker's extra point is good. Jerry Rosburg and John Harbaugh, but their special teams excellence on display again. And they're tied up with Houston at 7 apiece. One of the big stories of this season, the play of Deshaun Watson, the rookie quarterback for the Houston Texans. He became the first rookie in NFL history with 1,500 passing yards and 250 rushing yards in his first 6 seasons. His yards per attempt were 8.3, only Ben Roethlisberger better as a rookie. And he finished before he got hurt in practice, having thrown 16 touchdown passes in his last 4 games. That's the most touchdown passes by any rookie in any 4-game span in the history of the NFL. Far and away, the previous high for any rookie touchdown passes in 4 consecutive games was 11 by Fran Tarkenton in 1961. He threw 16 in 4 games for Bill O'Brien.
Unbelievable. And that doesn't even talk about really the rushing yardage he accumulated.
It's a shame that he got hurt. He played with a smile on his face. Really was captivating the league Here's Jordan Todman with the kickoff return for Houston out to the 28-yard line, and Bill O'Brien changed the playbook to accommodate the great talents of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, he did, and some of the plays they ran were hard to describe, but this man got crushed against Cincinnati by Geno Atkins, and then 2 plays later he runs right through Cincinnati on a 60-yard touchdown to win the game on a short week Thursday night in Cincinnati. But some of the plays he got out of trouble, and he made incredible throws down the field. The play design was different, but the brilliance of Deshaun Watson is certainly missed, but Houston's got a lot to be excited about.
Lots to look forward to. ACL injury out for about 9 months, they say. Savage on target to Braxton Miller for a first down at the 48. They're going to come quickly up to the line of scrimmage. The doctors told Deshaun Watson it's about a 9-month injury. He had the other knee in college at Clemson. He said, I'll be back in 5 months.
I wouldn't doubt him.
Bill O'Brien says he's in there every day doing his rehab at 6:30 in the morning. Lamar Miller to the 50-yard line, and the difference in the numbers is astounding. The 6 games with Deshaun Watson as the starter, they averaged 34.7 points per game. That was the most in the league during that stretch of games. They've scored half as many points with Savage at the helm, and Savage knows. He said, Watson can do things I can't do. Lamar Miller bounces outside. That's some people asked me today, how, given how obviously talented Watson is, could they have started Savage at the beginning of the year? But give Bill O'Brien credit. He changed it after 1 half. The first half of the first game, he made the change.
He knows what he's doing. They scrimmaged against the New England Patriots. He knew Watson was going to be a star, but he needed some seasoning, and they needed some time to put the playbook together for Watson. But it's Savage. It's Tom Savage that can save the Texans season with a win tonight.
Well, Bill O'Brien says it's time, and Savage said, yep, the coach is right. It is time for me to play better. He's played well tonight, and he throws an interception right on cue to Tony Jefferson, who brings it back across midfield. That's been the problem, the big mistake.
You're right, Sean. 3rd down and 2 in that field position. He jammed this ball right into double coverage, right side of your screen. Good enough protection. He threw the ball right into double coverage, and Jefferson, the ex-Arizona Cardinal, has his 17th interception for the Ravens, and here they come.
The Baltimore defense with the takeaway, 24th of the year. It's an interception for Tony Jefferson in his first year with the Ravens, his first interception as a Raven. Baltimore from the Houston 46. Boris Allen, better known as Buck, ridden down after a short game.
You think it's not important to the Texans? How about the effort? Watch where Clowney comes from. He's blocked, and he's going as hard as he can, sideline to sideline, with help from his teammates. You have to admire talent. You have to admire supreme effort. And when you see a man that can combine them both, there's a lot to get excited about.
He says he's still playing with the chip on his shoulder. A lot of people thought he was a bust. He just said, I wasn't healthy. Once I got healthy, I played. Flacco deep ball. Incomplete. Mike Wallace, the intended receiver, with Jonathan Joseph in coverage.
That's an old West Coast route we call Dino. It stands for double in. It's a post, corner, post. 5 steps, 3 to the post, 3 to the corner, and back to the post, and Joe Flacco just overthrew it. Play action pass, you're running a double move. Got to give your receiver a chance. Earlier, he threw the ball out of bounds down the field to Wallace. That time, he overthrew him.
They'll throw you deep, at least on occasion. Done that sparingly this year. Chris Moore yanked down by Eddie Pleasant, short of the first down. On passes of 21 yards or more downfield over the last 6 games, 1 completion for Baltimore. The Ravens average 5.4 yards per pass play this season. That is last in the NFL, despite the fact that Flacco has a big arm. He's a very effective downfield thrower when they won the Super Bowl. Going for it on 4th down. The toss, nice call. Plenty of running room for Collins. Inside the 10 and ripped down at the 7-yard line by Kevin Johnson.
John Harbaugh faking a punt, going forward on 4th and 1, and a great call by Marty Mornhinweg. Fake 63, get the linebackers to step up, and you flip it to Collins. Fool the defense completely, and there's the man that Lisa Salters previewed, the Irish dancer. Great call in a short yardage situation. Greg Roman, the ex-49er offensive coordinator, with some trickery in a running game.
So 2 for 2 on 4th down. Of course, the other one was the fake punt. Here's Collins breaking a tackle and into the end zone for a touchdown.
Watch this dance.
Alex isn't going to give us any Irish dancing.
I was hoping he could teach you something. You're Irish.
I sure am. Very disappointed.
Physically take it to the Texans with Collins. Beautiful back block right here by Boyle at tight end. And Alex Collins, released by the Seattle Seahawks. This was quite a runner in college. He had a great career at Arkansas, and he has taken advantage of this opportunity. Good for him.
Well, Darren McFadden ran for more yards as a Razorback than Collins. With 3 1,000-yard rushing seasons there. Tucker the extra point. And Baltimore leads for the first time tonight. Touchdowns on their last 2 possessions. 14-7. Well, Alex Collins scored his first touchdown rushing as a Raven last week in Green Bay. Did his Irish dance, for which he's become known. He was reluctant to do it there, but his teammates did get involved in the dance as he went off to the sideline. Big Brandon Williams, the defensive tackle, at 340 pounds. All right, Alex, you don't want to dance? I want to dance.
Is that great or what? I mean, that's Brandon Williams, a 340-pound Irish dancer. I want to see you do it. You're Irish.
I am.
I know you know about this.
Well, I don't know that we're really known for our dancing. I'm one of those people, at the wedding who usually dances a little bit when it's late in the wedding reception, when you have a little courage. Other than that, you sit there and enjoy the wedding.
We're never going to do another on-camera interview with your dancing. I'm Polish. We do the polka, so I'm off the hook.
Williams, by the way, he has moves far beyond the dance that he just did. We read in his bio that he can walk on his hands. Now here's a guy who's
Don't change the subject, man. I mean, you're trying to change the subject.
No, he can get honest. He can do a handstand and walk on his hands. And I didn't believe it. We have the video to prove it.
Okay.
Dating back to, I believe, when he was in college at Missouri Southern. It's not easy to walk on your hands no matter how big you are. But when you're 340 pounds, that has to be tough. Justin Tucker, these directional kicks are by design. They want to kick and cover, try to stop them shy of the 25-yard line. One of the things I learned being in that meeting last night. Well, here he is, just so you don't think we're lying. All right, Coach, I did my bad Irish dance. Let's see you do this.
That's unbelievable. That's why they drafted him. He has just a rare combination of size, strength, and athletic ability. They weren't very good on defense when he missed a few games, but they're a different outfit when he straps it on.
I know you try that, but all the cash from those different commercials you've been doing would start flying all over the floor. Lamar Miller, the tailback. They have the fullback, Jay Prosh, in the game trying to lead the way. And he is smothered across the boundary.
This is where I want to see these second-year players of the Ravens.
That was your grinder, Judon, and Lamar Miller is slow to get up, not getting up on the far sideline.
And this is a huge concern. He has over 600 yards rushing. He's the bell cow. They lost Donta Foreman last week, their second leading rusher. Let's see what happened to Lamar Miller on the sideline. You see Judon 99.
Tough to tell. He's gone out of the game, so they go to a spread passing formation on 2nd and 11. Houston had a 90-yard touchdown drive on its first possession, and that pass batted down 3rd time tonight. He's had one batted out of the air at the line, that time by Willie Henry, 2nd-year man out of Michigan.
That's hammering Willie Henry. That's the 5th time Willie Henry has rejected a pass. He's another 2nd-year player. He's out of Michigan. They're all over the place. Judon is a 2nd-year player. Henry, 2nd-year player. They do a great job injecting youth into this Raven defense every single season.
And they're coming. Had a good scouting report on Henry from the University of Michigan, where he played for Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh's brother. Savage, nice throw and a catch by Hopkins. Carrying the ball like a loaf of bread. He'll get a trip to the Gruden compound to get hit by some pool noodles. He did make it to the 42-yard line.
No idea what Jimmy Smith's playing here. Thinks he has some help inside. Nobody's home. Ravens got too cute that time. They got caught in a disguise, and Tom Savage with a huge 3rd down delivery.
3rd catch of the night for Hopkins. Back to the ground they go. Alfred Blue, the running back now, with Miller still not back on the field. They're also without Chris Clark, their starting left tackle, who's gone out with a leg injury and replaced by Kendall Lamb, who started at the left tackle spot in their opener against Jacksonville and really struggled. If you'll recall, that was the game Saxonville had 10 sacks, 6 in the first half on Tom Savage to help get him the hook. They like Nick Martin, 2nd-year player out of Notre Dame, the center. Blue bounced around, didn't find much.
This Terrell Suggs, he loves to play. I know he's got 123 sacks and he has all these Raven accolades, but he has so much pride in the way he plays. He's such a tone setter, example setter for this team when it comes to effort. And some of the best work of Terrell Suggs is the work you don't see in the meeting rooms, behind the scenes, leading all of these young 2nd-year and new Ravens.
Loves to practice, shows up ready to go at practice every day and sets the tone as the team leader. 3rd down and 10. Tom Savage checks it down to Blue, stays on his feet, breaks the tackle and has the 1st down. Looked like C.J. Mosley with a rare whiff on the tackle, and that allowed Houston to convert.
That's a great play by Blue. Throw the cape off, replace Lamar Miller, and manage to keep your feet and get a 1st down against a Pro Bowl linebacker like Mosley. Was he down? I think he's good.
Good for 14 yards. To the 28-yard line. 3.5 minutes to go till halftime. It's still Blue, that tailback. He was inactive last week with a hamstring injury against Arizona. And a hard-earned yard for Blue in his 4th year from LSU.
Let's just see where DeAndre Hopkins lines up. Ellington, Braxton Miller check back into the game. They love to isolate Hopkins away from trips. But every time Hopkins breaks the huddle, you can see all the alerts and all the communication from this Raven defense. They must find Hopkins and take him away in these obvious passing situations.
Savage hit as he throws, and it's a pop-up out of bounds, far sideline in the general direction of Bruce Ellington.
And in check some fresh pass rushers. Smith 90, 69. Henry. Bill O'Brien on 3rd down and long. Must expect pressure. That's what Dean Pease, the defensive coordinator of the Ravens, dials up in these 3rd and long situations. From some mysterious looks. All 11 Ravens are standing up to confuse Houston.
3rd down and 9. They are in field goal range for Kaimi Fairbairn. Blitz off the corner. Savage got hit by it as he got it off to Fedorowicz, who lunges for a Houston 1st down. There is a flag down back where Savage unloaded.
Roughing the passer, number 20, defense.
26.
15-yard penalty, automatic. Half the distance to the goal, automatic. 1st down.
Maurice Kennedy, bottom of your screen, number 26 on a slot blitz.
Oh boy.
I didn't see that. Take a look at it.
Boy.
Left side of your screen. I don't agree with that call.
Come on.
It's 4 penalties on the Ravens defense, but I didn't like that call.
Nah, it's bad. It's not to the head. It's not at his knees or below. You know, I guess if anything, it's a fraction late. They take the handoff. They fake the reverse. They throw it to Ellington, who came around the formation, and it's a 4-yard gain. It'll take us to the 2-minute warning. 14-7 Baltimore. The Inner Harbor of Baltimore. Very short walk from M&T Bank Stadium. Charm City, Baltimore, Maryland. Where John Harbaugh is in his 10th year as head coach, matching wits tonight with Bill O'Brien. They've been terrific this year in this situation. Texans went inside the 5-yard line and scored touchdowns all 10 times. 1 for 1 tonight. The only other team in the league perfect in that area is Philadelphia. The Eagles 13 for 13 scoring touchdowns this year inside the 5. Looking for the tying touchdown as we approach the half. Blue in trouble, surrounded by Ravens and ripped down for a loss. Good reaction by Tony Jefferson, Maurice Kennedy.
Well, on 1st down, right before the 2-minute drill, Savage comes out of this play action pass. He missed Hopkins wide open for a touchdown.
Wow.
Zadarius Smith, he missed the sack. He just fell down. But 3rd down and goal from the 7. The Ravens play a lot of unconventional coverages, and Bill O'Brien told us that. He said we're going to have to use some unconventional plays to attack them. Anything goes in Bill O'Brien's playbook. But Tom Savage, a young quarterback, this is where they struggle the most. 3rd down passing in the red zone. Be careful here.
Yeah, he's turned it over 3 times in the red zone. And the Ravens 4 red zone takeaways, most in the league this season. Blue goes out in the pass pattern, but it's intended for Fedorowicz, who didn't seem to see the ball coming in his direction, and he was surrounded by Baltimore Ravens.
Fedorowicz caught over 50 passes last year. He's missed 7 games this year with a concussion. Here he is running to the post against C.J. Mosley. It's good coverage.
So here's Kaimi Fairbairn, 2nd-year man out of UCLA, Hawaii native, with a 25-yard field goal to get Houston within 4. 1:48 to go, 1st half. We'll be back in 30 seconds after word from Cognizant. Monday Night Football continues from Baltimore. Ravens leading 14-10. They've been terrific under the lights. Under John Harbaugh, The Baltimore Ravens are 11-1 in primetime games. Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night, and they've won 9 primetime games in a row. Including that 40-0 shutout of Miami here on a Thursday night a month ago. That was their last home game. They haven't been home in a month. Here comes Chris Moore.
Oh, ooh.
Been spinning around, then got flattened by Dylan Cole. I'm told by the truck that you are going to teach me some football.
I like Mike Vrabel, the defensive coordinator of the Texans. In this 2-minute situation, they're going to jam the front. They're going to cover the center and both guards. And they do it several different ways. They can use it with 3 different linemen. They can put McKinney over the center and create a jam front that way. But watch this. They're going to use linebackers. They're going to stand up McKinney, Scarlett, and they're going to use Zach Cunningham in this series. You watch and jam the front and try to get Clowney one-on-one. Here's a jam front right here, Sean.
Right on cue. I think you're speaking right into Mike Vrabel's headset. And Flacco's pass incomplete.
Take a look at it. They cover the center and both guards. You see 51 right here, the linebacker. Number 51, Dylan Cole, who's back from injury. They're trying to make all 5 linemen block one-on-one with no help. And Mike Vrabel, the ex-New England Patriot, what a great player he was, and he's becoming a really great defensive coach here in the NFL.
Was their linebacker coach for 3 years. Promoted a defensive coordinator. Romeo Crennel became associate head coach. He's still on the staff, up in the box, helping Mike Vrabel and Bill O'Brien manage game situations. Danny Woodhead the run and a first down. Coming up on the Toyota halftime. Susie, Steve, Charles, Randy, and Matthews will talk about the Ravens' second quarter rally, ignited by John Harbaugh and Jerry Rosburg's decision to fake that punt, really turn the momentum in this game. And an interview with the always affable Dabo Swinney, Clemson Tigers, the Dr. Pepper ACC championship game coming up this weekend against Miami, and he hopes to be back in that playoff and defend the national championship.
A tough group to pick the final 4.
So good luck. I've always thought it should be 8 or 16 anyway. You were there last year when Clemson won the national championship in Tampa. Here's Flacco running and running for a while, and he slides down at the 39-yard line.
His knee brace popped out. He's got to come out of the game.
Oh boy.
I think it's just a malfunction of his knee brace, and John Harbaugh's got to use a timeout.
Yeah, you could use the timeout and put him back out there. Might want to stop the clock anyway. He didn't go out of bounds, and they do call timeout.
That's the knee brace on his left knee.
Flacco's longest run of the season, 11 yards. Ryan Mallett, former Houston Texan, warming up just in case, but they don't need him, it appears.
Oh, Mallett is checking into the huddle.
Apparently they're going to have to fix that brace. He was involved. Well, here comes Flacco now. Mallett was involved, and not in a good way, last week. While on the sideline as the backup quarterback in Green Bay, he got a 15-yard penalty for verbal abuse of an official. That did not sit well with Coach Harbaugh.
But it didn't. Let's see if Flacco can put something together here in a 2-minute drill.
Four-man rush, the check down, and Woodhead taken down immediately by Eddie Pleasant.
Eddie Pleasant, dime linebacker, but look at the help left guard Hurst gives to Stanley on Clowney. That's what you need to do. 2 men on Clowney, and don't let him ruin this game.
Ravens go quickly. 50 seconds left in the half, and the catch made. Benjamin Watson with a first down for Baltimore to the Texans' 46-yard line.
That's a good seam throw by Joe Flacco.
Third and final, it will be 30 seconds.
Ben Watson, he has had an unbelievable career. He's overcome a terrible Achilles injury, and at 36 years old, Ben Watson can still catch the football. He's what I call a real tight end.
Oh boy, here we go.
I get excited about this every year. We vote for Pro Bowls. Well, tight ends play tight on the end of line. And in the NFL right now, I think Vernon Davis goes to the Pro Bowl. 71% of the time he plays tight on the end of the line. I like Kyle Rudolph of the Vikings a lot. Love Watson. I love Gronkowski. But those are tight ends that play tight on the end of line.
Mike Wallace are out of bounds with a 9-yard gain. So what percentage, if it's below 50%, are you no longer a tight end?
Yeah, I think so. If it's below 50, you're considered a joker. You can be selected to the Pro Bowl as a joker.
And by that you mean
you can line up in any hand. You can line up in the slot. You can line up as a wide receiver, but you're not a tight end unless you play the position. Sorry for getting upset, but I've been on a mission on that.
Quite uncommon. Second down and 1. They don't have a timeout. Wallace does have the first down. They'll have to go quickly. They are in field goal range. Matter of fact, we're in the parking lot there in field goal range for Justin Tucker. 30 seconds to go. And Flacco throws it away.
This is tough on middle linebacker number 59, Benardrick McKinney. The Texans, remember, Sean, they lost 2 games in the 2-minute drill because their defense couldn't get it done against New England and against Seattle. And the communication, when the clock is moving and the offense is going fast, it forces McKinney to get the call in, get it communicated to his defense, and it's a challenge. And it's hard to simulate it at the speed of game day.
How much different their season would be. They led with 30 seconds to go at New England and at Seattle and lost both games. Wallace on the sideline did not get both feet in bounds.
Disappointing. It's an outside breaking route. Clearly out of bounds. Keep an eye on Danny Woodhead in this situation. Woodhead finally healthy, missed 8 games, hurt his hamstring in the opening game. And in a long yardage third down, I'm looking for Woodhead to give Tucker a more manageable field goal.
Excellent third down back. Problem the last few years staying healthy. He's missed 35 games the previous 3 seasons. Looked like Jeremy Maclin didn't see that one coming. They had to go to the sideline, try to get out of bounds, make sure the half didn't end without the field goal try. So here comes Tucker. Second most accurate kicker of all time. Made 89.5% of his field goals. Only Dan Bailey of the Cowboys, 89.9, is better.
It's a pleasure watching this man kick a football.
Multi-talented guy and a real character. Opera singer among many other interesting exploits. And could that be more down the middle? As John Harbaugh says, he's a performer. He doesn't get knocked down by pressure. He thrives in it. He wants to be out there in the spotlight.
And these are majestic blasts. I mean, you can't hit a ball any better than that. Go on YouTube and look up some of his trick kicks. That's what I do during the week. I watch Justin Tucker trick kicks. But what a performer he is.
So it's back to a 7-point lead for the Ravens. 7 seconds to go till halftime here in Baltimore. Next Monday night we'll be in Cincinnati. Our Week 13 matchup between bitter AFC North rivals, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals. Steelers 9-2, cruising right along. They have dominated the rivalry, winning 8 of the last 9, including the last 5 with the Bengals. The Bengals 5-6. They're in the middle of this muddled wild card race in the AFC. Chris Thompson takes us to halftime as he was tackled by Maurice Kennedy. Coming up next, The Toyota halftime will join Susie Colbert and the crew for the Toyota halftime in 30 seconds. Welcome back to Monday Night Football from Baltimore, where the Ravens lead the Houston Texans 17-10 at halftime. Tom Savage threw for 147. Joe Flacco just 89. But again tonight it is the defense and the special teams carrying the bulk of the load for the Baltimore Ravens. Welcome back, Sean McDonough, along with John Gruden. Time for tonight's Kay Jewelers Extraordinary Moments. And a couple of extraordinary moments on 4th down really turned the game around in the first half for the Baltimore Ravens.
Really did. Got the crowd going, got me going. 4th down and 6 in a punting situation. Our Pro Bowl punter Sam Cook looks down at the bottom of the screen. He sees Chris Moore, his wide receiver, and he pops it up, and Moore makes a great catch. And it set up this touchdown run by Buck Allen. And watch the help he gets from his Raven teammates. That is great stuff. Then on 4th and 1. John Harbaugh goes for it. They take the ball to the fullback. They lure the linebackers inside, completely fool the defense. Then it's Alex Collins again, slamming it off the right side. And here we are at halftime in a 14-10 game.
It was a very lackluster start for Baltimore. Boo Bird's out for the offense. But the fake punt, second successful fake punt of the year for Baltimore. Both of them passes from Sam Cook to Chris Moore. Certainly got the crowd involved. The energy level up on that Baltimore sideline. Tom Savage will get the ball first here in the second half, as Houston will receive the second half kickoff from Justin Tucker. No chance for Chris Thompson. Here's Lisa Salters down on the sideline.
Hey, Sean, well, as you know, Bill O'Brien challenged Tom Savage this week when he was quoted saying that Savage needs to get it going. And Savage told us last night that he agreed and got off to that hot start with the 90-yard touchdown drive. But since then, the Texans have just 83 yards of offense. Bill O'Brien told me the problem in that first half, negative yards on 1st and 2nd down. He said penalties, tackles for loss, put them in bad spots. But he said other than that interception that he's sure Savage would like to have back, he thinks overall he's playing pretty well. Sean?
Well, good news for Bill O'Brien as they break the huddle. Lamar Miller, their leading running back, who left the game in the first half, is back in now as the tailback behind Jay Prosh. C.J. Fedorowicz is the motion man. Not much doing, and that's been the case all night on the ground for Houston. They've rushed for 35 yards. And here's the night for Tom Savage so far.
Beautiful throw in the opening possession. Tight window to DeAndre Hopkins, but he did make this critical error, forcing the ball into coverage, but he throws this ball with great touch. And once again to Hopkins over the middle. He made some nice throws to set up a field goal, and here we are at 17-10.
$13 out of 20 for 147 for Savage. And the interception by Jefferson. Good throw. And C.J. Fedorowicz upset with himself as he could not hang on.
Boy, the tight ends were such a huge part of this pass offense last year, and this year they have been silenced. Griffin is out. Fedorowicz has been hurt, but Fedorowicz must make that catch. That ball's thrown perfectly. And on 3rd down and 9. It'll be a mysterious look from the Raven defense. Will they bring it or will they bluff it?
They are bringing it right up the middle. Savage got away for a moment. Gets it off to Hopkins, and he's short of the first down by about a half a yard.
Boy, Savage did a great job that time in the pocket, avoiding Terrell Suggs. They bring the blitz right up the middle from Eric Weddle. Suggs going for the strip, doesn't get it, and that's an excellent throw by Savage, just short of the first down. Take a look at Hopkins working against Brandon Carr. Impressive sideline work by Hopkins. Wow.
He says he's the best toe tap man in the league, and Bill O'Brien took that one further. He said he's the best on the sideline I've ever seen. Fair catch made by Ladarius Webb of the punt by Shane Leckler. Another punt inside the 10 by Leckler. Jadeveon Clowney was dominating the game early for the Houston Texans. The Ravens done a little bit better job with him lately. Time now for the State Farm total replay.
You got a great player. You got to move him around. Here he is playing right defensive end. You keep watching. They move him to inside linebacker. Then he's playing left defensive end. Then they move him to right defensive tackle. And he can cut it loose from any position. And if he finds a weakness, defensive coordinator Matt Vrabel is going to put Clowney right over you. But I think if Houston wins this game, it's going to be because Clowney ruins the game for the Ravens. And if I'm Marty Morningwig, the offensive coordinator, I'm telling my guys to break the huddle every snap, find number 90, and let's get help where help is needed.
Flacco, short pass, and the quick hitter to Max Williams, third-year tight end out of Minnesota, goes for a 12-yard gain and a first down.
Well, they use an unbalanced line, and they put Max Williams in here at fullback. He's going to motion across and go into the flat. You see 86 Boyle to the corner. That's the play I call Spider 2 Y banana. First time I've said that all year. Boy, that felt good. A lot of different formations, unbalanced line. Used a lot here in Baltimore.
First catch of the night for Williams. Got injuries to that tight end group. Buck Allen smothered for a 3-yard loss.
With Clowney at linebacker again, Sean. And when this big man stands up as an inside linebacker, he is shooting a gap. And he times it perfectly, and it's the penetration. Forces the ball to bounce, and there's nothing there. Another loss. Got to be a smart football player to handle all these different assignments and alignments. Look at him.
Ravens know where he is. He got stuck in the traffic there, and the throw to Benjamin Watson gets Baltimore to the 26-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and 3. 10-yard gain, second catch of the night for Watson.
And when number 10, Chris Moore, checks into the game, you got to be alert. This is the man they like to use on jet sweeps and reverses, and he's also a stunt man. He comes in to block. He has a very specific role,
which includes catching passes on fake punts. Done that twice this year now. 1 out of 7 on 3rd down, and Flacco throws it away. And there is a flag down in the secondary at the 41-yard line.
Kevin Johnson just tackled him. It's got to be against Kevin Johnson, number 30. Moore runs to the corner, and Johnson tackled him.
Holding. Defense number 30. 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Homecoming for Kevin Johnson. As mentioned earlier, from Clarksville, Maryland. High school teammate, lifelong best friend of the Ravens wide receiver Michael Campanaro. Unfortunately for the two of them, Campanaro is not active tonight. They played on a high school state championship team 10 years ago, won it right here in this stadium. Went to Wake Forest together, roomed at Wake Forest. Kevin was looking forward to playing tonight, seeing Campanaro and a lot of friends and loved ones. And 1st and 10, Flacco on the move, incomplete. Intended for Brashad Perriman.
This Perriman, he just cannot get his career launched. Former first rounder out of Central Florida on an over route. Bad route distribution between he and Nick Boyle, and just ran out of room. But Perriman was inactive last week. He's had injuries. He's had dropped passes. He's been disappointing. But the man has a lot of talent, and they need to get it out of him fast.
John Harbaugh hoping that being a healthy scratch at Green Bay would help to motivate him. Danny Woodhead surged across the 35-yard line. We haven't had much luck at the wide receiver positions. Ozzie Newsome, Eric DeCosta, the personnel group and scouts here have done such a great job for a long time. But they have not had a wideout in the Pro Bowl for 20 years.
Well, you got to find something to criticize Ozzie Newsome.
There's not a lot else.
He's drafted a lot of good players. But Jeremy Maclin, the ex-Philadelphia Eagle, Kansas City Chief, and Mike Wallace, who bounced around the league, they got to step it up. I've seen them play better.
They brought in veterans Steve Smith, Anquan Bolden, who've done a good job, but they haven't had luck drafting wideouts. Wallace couldn't hang on to that one on a 50-50 ball with Marcus Williams.
Well, you got to beat a backup corner. To be a top down the field go-to receiver, you got to beat backup corners in one-on-one coverage. And Flacco gives him a 50-50 ball. I think Wallace should go up and make this catch. They just have no vertical pass production, none. The only vertical pass production I've seen has come from their punter.
Yeah, look out for Sam Cook pass. Pretty good at kicking it too. Another directional punt and a fair catch made by Bruce Ellington. Just underway in the second half. Monday Night Football from Baltimore. Well, as he said at the top of the telecast, no team has had more to deal with than the Texans. Started their final preseason game canceled because of Hurricane Harvey. Devastation all over the Houston area, and the heroic work of J.J. Watt to help raise $37 million in relief funds. Dwayne Brown, their Pro Bowl tackle, held out for 6 games, played 1, then they traded him. 2 days after the opener, Brian Cushing, the linebacker, all-time leading tackler for the Texans, suspended 10 games for violating the league's performance-enhancing substance policy. October 8th, same game against the Chiefs. Their 2 best defensive players, along with Devion Clowney. Watt, merciless. Season-ending injuries. Bob McNair, the quote that got a lot of attention: "We can't have the inmates running the prison," around the national anthem controversy. And Deshaun Watson, who was the talk of the league for his tremendous rookie season, tore his ACL in practice. And yet here they are at 4-6, still with a chance to make the playoffs. Matter of fact, the last 5 years, each of those 5, a 4-6 team or worse at the 10-game mark, has made the playoffs. Bill O'Brien hoping they can do that this year.
How about Bill O'Brien? You know, he has a son, Jack, who's got a rare brain disorder. He's 15 years old. We're all pulling for Jack. And here's another man. He took over at Penn State. Been through a lot.
He sure has. And that's why he said when you talk about adversity as it pertains to football, he just kind of smiled at us. His son Jack, the condition that he has, most don't live past 3 or 4 years old. My son sometimes has 10 seizures a day. Said my wife Colleen is the hero there. She's home all day taking care of Jack while I'm off doing the football thing. They are a remarkable family. Bill O'Brien, a man of tremendous character, and if you had the pleasure of meeting Colleen, she's an amazing human being.
No doubt.
And obviously Jack's a pretty special guy too. 3rd down and 7. Savage with time, and he's on target to Hopkins. There is a flag down.
Is it on offense? Is it on Hopkins?
He's been called for 4 offensive pass interference penalties this season. That leads the league.
He's got to go against Baltimore.
Holding. Defense, number 22. 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Oh, it's the trips formation at the top of the screen. And they isolate Hopkins. And if you ever single cover Hopkins, Bill O'Brien is telling his quarterback to throw it to number 10. And it's the 2nd time tonight I've seen him beat Jimmy Smith. Good call by the referees. I love watching the best against the best. Last week, what a battle Hopkins had against Patrick Peterson. And this week he's drawn Jimmy Smith in man-to-man situations. And this matchup right here could decide this game.
That was the most fun he's ever had one-on-one against Peterson. He said he thought Peterson was the best corner he's ever played. Doesn't always get one-on-one coverage. Usually you see a lot of zone, Coverage tilted toward him with help for the corner. Nothing doing for Lamar Miller. Yanked down by Peterson's former Arizona teammate, Tony Jefferson.
Oh, they isolate him a lot in trips. They put 3 receivers on one side, and they isolate Hopkins as much as anybody in football. 198 times they've isolated him. They've targeted him 46 times. You can see what a big part of their offense it is. Here it is again. Trips at the top of the screen. And if they single Hopkins, they're going to throw him the ball again.
Play clock at 3. Savage on target for a first down. Braxton Miller out to the 42-yard line.
That's how it works. He read cover 2. If they double Hopkins, you throw it to the trip side. The safety's going to draw over Hopkins, and he says, you know what, if you're going to double Hopkins, fine with me. I'll throw it to the 3 receiver side, and they gash him.
Bill O'Brien said they were going to get Braxton Miller more involved. They have. He has 4 catches tonight. On the delay to Lamar Miller, surging up the middle and out to midfield.
I go back to Bill O'Brien. You know, I don't really know him. He comes off that Patriot tree, those doggone Patriots. But when you meet a guy that has mental toughness and leadership ability, it's obvious that he and his coaching staff have earned the respect of these players, and they play it on the line for each other. The coaches for the players for the coaches. It's a beautiful thing in football.
Ravens crowding the line. Lamar Miller again did not get to the first down line. About a yard shy, and here comes a big 3rd down for Houston.
And if you study short yardage defense, over the years the Ravens are as good as anybody. And they're led by Brandon Williams, their $50 million defensive tackle. And Dean Pease is going to bring heat. He is not going to play soft. He is going to bring Ravens near the line of scrimmage, and he will threaten gaps. He's not going to make this an easy yard to get.
Alfred Blue, the running back. They do crowd the line, and Blue gets the first down with 2 yards to spare.
That's the second big-time play that Blue has made off the bench tonight. He's going to slam this right off the right side, and Brandon Williams, number 98, gets doubled at the point of attack, and that's just good short yardage running.
Blue had only 13 carries all season, mostly a special teams player this year. With the development of the rookie Foreman, he was just finding his stride when he injured his Achilles last week. 5 out of 7 on 3rd down tonight. Looked like Jefferson, the blitzer, was offside. Savage a deep throw in the direction of Hopkins.
He's going against Baltimore again.
And a flag down in the secondary. I didn't see one at the line of scrimmage. It did look like Jefferson was close to being offside.
Brandon Carr.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 24, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
It's the 6th penalty against this Raven defense. That's the 2nd on Carr. Left side of your screen, number 24. I don't see a thing.
Well, not a lot. Certainly John Harbaugh saw it up on the big screen. The end zone of this stadium. The crowd saw it too, and John Harbaugh's hot.
Pass interference should call itself. We should all see it and all say that's PI. Too many questionable calls.
4th first down by penalty for the Texans tonight, and Blues ahead for about 3 more. For something John Harbaugh's fighting for his job. Made the playoffs his first 5 years, won the Super Bowl after the 2012 season, but they've missed the playoffs 3 out of the last 4, and there is some grumbling locally.
Well, there's grumbling everywhere. You know, the man just won his 100th game last week. We're all under pressure to keep our jobs, aren't we?
Yeah, he'd be, yeah. I don't know that you are. He'd be out of work for about 30 seconds before he got the call from somebody else. Savage, deep ball up for grabs with Hopkins, and there's a flag for pass interference.
They can't handle Hopkins.
Nope. It's Jimmy Smith who is having a great year. John Harbaugh thinks he's going to go to the Pro Bowl for the first time this year.
Pass interference.
Trips.
Defense
if they single
22.
coverage Hopkins, they're going to throw the ball every time.
Foul. Automatic.
They don't care if Jimmy Smith's over there or not. It's a double move, and before Eric Weddle can get there, Jimmy Smith. It's an obvious call there.
No doubt.
Hopkins, incredible durability, 75 straight starts, and he never misses a snap. That's what I admire about him the most. He loves the misery of the fourth quarter and being tired. He wears people out.
So he does a lot of endurance training, runs 5 miles a day in the offseason, runs hills. Saw some old training videos of Jerry Rice running hills. I always marveled at how he was in great shape in the fourth quarter. You know all about that, having coached Jerry. There comes a flag flying in as Lamar Miller was tackled to the line of scrimmage.
Boy, this will be against Houston. Holding.
Holding. Offense, number 87. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Mock cheer from the crowd. They don't think the Ravens have fared very well with the flags tonight. C.J. Fedorowicz, the former Iowa Hawkeye, called for the hold.
Take a look at 87.
It's a good call.
Fedorowicz struggling, had a key drop earlier, and that's a big penalty. First down in the red zone.
One of their many injuries, Ryan Griffin, one of their tight ends, inactive on IR. They tried to set up a quick pop to Hopkins. It's an incomplete pass. Terrell Suggs.
The guy can make a lot of plays. And he's no back formation. Suggs knows the ball's coming out quick. And he times it just perfectly, rejecting the pass. Second down and long.
Suggs, Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer, no doubt. 15 years. He's been the MVP of the league on defense. He's come back from Achilles tendon injuries. He represents this franchise as well as anybody that's ever wore the colors.
122 career sacks, 19th in the history of the league. Savage, far sideline, and that had a better chance of being intercepted than it did being completed to Hopkins.
And he's working against a backup tackle, Kendall Lamb, 63. But here's Carr working against Hopkins.
There was more holding on that play, it seemed, than the one the Ravens were called for a little bit ago.
Give Kendall Lamb credit there. He did a nice job. Third and long. In field goal range. Do not turn the ball over. You want to stay tight as you enter the fourth quarter.
3rd and 20. Ravens again showing blitz. They rushed 4. Short throw and a good tackle. Braxton Miller wrapped up and taken down immediately by C.J. Mosley. Dean Pease said I went down to Alabama to work out in advance of the draft. Mosley and Clinton Dix. And I walked out of the Alabama football building saying we need to have C.J. Mosley on the Baltimore Ravens.
And when you sit down and talk football with him, you can see why. He has such a presence about him, and he's a great playmaker. He never comes off the field. This is a big one.
Yeah, this is a big one for Kaimi Fairbairn. Good one named John Christian Fairbairn, and then a very long name that Coach Gruden is going to try to pronounce for us. If I'm going to have to Irish dance on national TV, you are going to have to try to pronounce his name.
Not happening.
36-yard field goal, a 4-point game. Kaimi Fairbairn to kick off. As we mentioned, his name is John Christian. And then this, Coach, go get him. I'm going to have Irish dance while you do it.
Kaimi Diabafale. I have no chance. That is 30 letters. 30 letters.
Did you add them up?
I
during
did.
The break?
I did that in my preparation for this
That's
game.
impressive.
Go ahead. Let's hear you do it.
I can't.
Let's hear
Lisa
him do it.
Salters, though, asked him before the game, and John Christian Kaimi Fairbairn was nice enough. Let's listen.
John Christian Kaimino Aulo Meka Ike Oke Kumupa Fairburn.
That sounds.
So you got that, John. We'll repeat it after him. Go ahead.
I'd like to meet his parents. How do you come up with a name like that?
He said nobody calls him John Christian except his mother when she gets mad at him. She actually, that's when she gets mad at him, she uses the whole name. She can pronounce it just as well as he did.
Well, he won the Lou Groza Award at UCLA. He's quite a kicker.
Yeah, UCLA. But there is some excitement with the hiring of Chip Kelly as the head coach. Speaking of college football, we have the Dr. Pepper ACC Championship game Saturday. Number 2 Miami, number 3 Clemson. Of course, those were the rankings heading into this past weekend. Spot on that college football playoff certainly going to be on the line. The winner of that game will most certainly be in. Let's hope they fare better than the skater on the rink. 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 Pacific on ABC, live on the ESPN app. What a weekend it was in college football, with Alabama losing to Auburn. Miami lost to Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh on Friday. Alex Collins straight ahead for Baltimore, and Andre Howell, the safety, made the tackle for Houston.
Collins is a no-nonsense north-south back. He had a lot of fumbles in his career at Arkansas. Why he slipped until the 5th round. Seattle took him. He had a couple fumbles here early, but he's taking care of the football. He's learning this offense, and I think you're going to see more and more of him down the stretch, even though Terrence West is helping out.
40 yards on 8 carries for Collins. 5 yards per carry, right on his season average. Flacco chased out of bounds by Brian Peters, short of the first down, but close, about 2 yards short.
Just watch Collins helping out his quarterback. You got to play without the ball if you're a running back. He's going to deliver about 3 blows on this scramble by Flacco. There's 1. There's 2. He didn't get a 3rd blow. But that's what you have to do. You have to do more than just run. There's 2 good blows by Collins.
The answers are very tough.
That's just good work. And you have to do that, though, to stay on the field on 2nd and 3rd down. Good work by Collins.
3rd down and 2. They're 1 for 8 on 3rd down. Collins. Whoop. He was the recipient of the blow there from DJ Reader. 2nd year out of Clemson. Said he really benefited as a rookie last year to study under Vince Wilfork, who retired at the end of the year.
Just listen to this. You cut the ball back into DJ Reader. Look out. The Houston Texans lead the league in Clemson Tigers, and Reader's one of them.
Sam Cook. Wellington telling his teammates to get away from the ball. It takes a great bounce. Sam Cook, one of the stars of the night for the Baltimore Ravens, hosting Monday Night Football for the first time since 2012. That's the matchup next Monday night. Steelers and Bengals from Cincinnati. Talked to Bill O'Brien last night about the AFC. He said right now it's really the Steelers and Patriots clearly better than everybody else. The Bengals are in the mix at 5-6 for a playoff spot. They bounced back from a very rough start to the season. Right now the Titans control the tiebreaker with the Jaguars in the AFC South. Bill O'Brien said he thinks the Jaguars are the best team in their division.
I like what Bill O'Brien said about the Steelers and the Patriots. So they're clearly the best, but he has a lot of respect for what Tom Coughlin and Doug Marrone have brought to the Jaguars, and some of those players on defense are special.
We asked Bill O'Brien, he's surprised by what Jacksonville's done. He said no, they've had good players. Doug Marrone and Tom Coughlin brought some discipline and toughness. Bill O'Brien wasn't surprised at all. Alfred Blue straight ahead. Bill O'Brien and Doug Marrone are very close friends. Matter of fact, their wives were roommates in college.
And there's C.J. Mosley, Sean. He was out of the game for a few snaps. He had a stinger. They put him in concussion protocol. He passed everything, and good to have your team captain back at middle linebacker.
They can't play without him. They can. But it probably wouldn't go very well. Didn't go well for Blue there. On Wasso again in on the tackle for Baltimore. Steven Anderson, pass catching tight end. Now he would not meet your description.
No, he's not going to line up tight on the end of the line often, but this man can run and catch. And they like to get him underneath against the linebackers and safeties of the Ravens.
And Savage said last night at our meeting he has a real comfort level with Steven Anderson in the passing game. 3rd down and 4. Play clock running out. They snapped it at 1. Savage throws incomplete. Looking for Ellington. And good coverage by Ladarius Webb, who's been both a cornerback and a safety during his time with Baltimore.
What a player he is. You know, he got cut. They signed Tony Jefferson in free agency, and they let Webb go. One of the great Baltimore Ravens. They let him go. They brought him back. He took a $3 million pay cut. He wants to finish his career here, and I give him a lot of credit. It's called loyalty, and this kid has it.
Shane Leckler. Short punt by his standards, and Baltimore will start on the plus side of midfield. Dylan Cole downed it at the 49-yard line. Just a 36-yard punt by Leckler. Only Jeff Fiegels has kicked more punts in the history of the NFL than Shane Leckler.
And Sean, I think it's time for Joe Flacco, Super Bowl MVP quarterback, to deliver the knockout punch. The one element of this football team that has been lacking is the pass offense and the killer instinct of Joe Flacco, and he needs some help from his teammates. But for them to be great, they've got to pick it up and close people out with their offense once in a while.
They give it to the tailback, Alex Collins. They put your man Ricard in the backfield there. Two-way player Patrick Ricard, the rookie out of the University of Maine, lined up as the fullback, flagged down on the play.
Holding. Offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
It's James Hurst at left guard. And in that field position on 1st down, it's driving John Harbaugh crazy.
You're talking about Joe Flacco. They keep waiting for him to put it together and have a big game. Not tonight. They have attempted a few more throws down the field than we've seen earlier this year, but they haven't been connecting on them. He has plenty of time to look down the field. Didn't find anybody open, so it's Woodhead for a short gain. Blasted by Jonathan Joseph.
I like him.
Outstanding 12th-year corner. 33 years old, out of the University of South Carolina.
This cover, too. He sees his check down all the way, and he punishes Woodhead. 33 years old. He did it in Cincinnati. He did it a long time in the NFL. I give him credit.
From Rock Hill, South Carolina. Same hometown as Devion Clowney. He's known Clowney since Devion was about 10 years old. Woodhead, well short of the 1st down, got back across midfield to the 47-yard line of Houston, and they don't have to snap it again here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, who's it going to be from this receiving corps to help Joe Flacco in the 4th quarter? Perryman, Macklin, Wallace. This receiving corps has been very quiet as well.
Heading to the 4th quarter, Baltimore leading by 4, facing a big 3rd down. They're 1 for 9 on 3rd down tonight. They came into tonight 33% for the year, and that's not good. 30th in the league, better than only Cleveland and the New York Giants, 2 of the worst teams in the league. Here's a 3rd down and 8 from the Houston 47. Collins trying to get outside, has some room, has a 1st down.
Wow. Totally caught the Ravens, the Texans off guard. He's going to run the sweep play, and they hook Zach Cunningham, number 41. They completely outflank the Texan defense.
Needed 8, they got 12. Baltimore's rushed for exactly 100 yards tonight. Running game, it's scuffled. Lately, under 75 yards rushing for the Ravens in 3 of their last 4 games. Buck Allen now the ball carrier. Boy, at the very least, they're in field goal range for Tucker now.
It's good surge, good old school football. Power play. They love to pull their left guard, James Hurst. You'll see him pull at the point of attack. Max Williams, 87, the 280-pound fullback. Greg Roman. You saw a lot of that type of offense when he was with the San Francisco 49ers, and power gap blocking football. Here's another formation.
And the defensive player Ricard lined up as the fullback. And Allen ahead for about 1.5 yards.
See Greg Roman, senior assistant right here. Joe D'Alessandris, the new offensive line coach, bring a wealth of experience, and you got to be ready for this Raven running game. It's different every week. It's hard to prepare for because there's so much volume. Gap plays, zone plays, toss plays, unbalanced line, shifts. Big part of this offense.
Boy, Clowney off the ball quickly. Woodhead blocked him, and a juggling catch made by Wallace. Looked like he was going to drop the ball when he was wide open, but he managed to hang on for a Baltimore first down at the 16-yard line.
Well, that's what you do. You get the linebackers fooled with the play action, and you can find Mike Wallace wide open over the top. You see McKinney, number 55, 41 Cunningham, completely fools the underneath coverage, and Mike Wallace made it interesting, but he got it done. Power football, setting up some beautiful play action passes off of it.
So 1 for 9 on 3rd down to start the game. 2 for 2 since. Here's Alex Collins out of the Wildcat, dropped after a gain of 1 by Brian Peters, backup linebacker in his 3rd season from Northwestern.
Look at the size of that sideline sheet. Marty Morningwig, he's got probably 150 different runs on that thing. And Mike Vrabel has a shrunken play sheet. He's got a lot of new players. Man, he's missing some critical Houston Texans, and Benardrick McKinney, number 55 in the middle, has to set the table for everybody.
Defense has played well tonight against an offense that isn't very good. Buck Allen tackled in the open field by Kevin Johnson.
And watch McKinney, Sean, on this 3rd down situation. The man is exhausted. Here you see McKinney, 55, trying to recover in the flat. He's exhausted.
A nice play by Johnson. Mentioned Kevin Johnson's from Maryland. His parents, when he was a kid, were Ravens season ticket holders. Spent some time in this stadium. And his sister Hillary was a Ravens cheerleader. They're cheering for Kevin tonight and the Houston Texans. Flacco, plenty of time after the play fake, and it's too high, too long for Mike Wallace.
Well, they tried to trick him. They tried to sneak Max Williams, the tight end, out. Nobody there, and Flacco had to throw it away. They're trying to sneak the tight end out off this play action pass, but they didn't buy it. Good coverage by the Houston Texans. Flacco has no choice but to throw it away.
There's Justin Tucker. Connected from 53 earlier. This is 31.
A video game.
There was golf, you'd give it to him. There was a gimme. It's a 7-point lead again for the Ravens. USAA and the NFL pay tribute to our armed forces through the Salute to Service initiative. Tonight we focus on Marcus Gilchrist of the Texans and his father Ronnie, who served 8 years in the Marines, stationed in Jacksonville, North Carolina, and Okinawa in Japan. He retired with the rank of Lance Corporal. Marcus said growing up, his dad always had him doing sit-ups and push-ups.
That's awesome. Gilchrist, he came back from a patella tendon injury, and what a story he is in his own right. But I love seeing stuff like that. He and his dad. Good for the Gilchrist.
Well, they needed a safety. Quentin Demps left via free agency to Chicago. They lost your Boye, A.J. Boye, to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they had some holes in the secondary. Gilchrist was working out all winter down in Boca Raton, Florida with Kareem Jackson. Kareem Jackson said he lobbied the Texans to bring in Gilchrist. Thought he had 20 left in the tank. He has been a good addition. Chris Thompson takes a knee.
You know, Sean, I love second-year players in the NFL. That's the ones that show the most improvement. Look at Matthew Judon, outside linebacker, setting the edge and stuffing Lamar Miller. I love that. How about Willie Henry, second-year man out of Michigan, pushing the pocket, rejecting Savage. And Owasa, Patrick Owasa, second leading tackler of the Ravens, second year out of Portland State. If you're a second-year player, you usually show the most improvement, and man, have I seen a lot of these guys emerging in this defense.
C.J. Fedorowicz balls out late. I believe he's going to be ruled down, and he will be.
What?
The ruling on the field is down by contact. A catch and down by contact. Second down.
Got to get Fedorowicz going. Ball's moving, I think. Jerry Austin says he's down, but he's had a holding call. He's dropped the pass, and that was awfully close.
I just wonder if he ever had full possession of the ball. I think John Harbaugh might challenge this. John thought that ball was moving around the entire time.
Is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass and down by contact. We will review the play.
Take a look at Fedorowicz. I thought 57 Mosley punched the ball out, and it was moving right here. I don't know. I think he landed on Mosley's arm. This could be a fumble. This could take a while back in New York City.
Coming up on SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt after the game. Clemson coach Dabo Swinney joins the show. New rankings will be out tomorrow. Are his Tigers poised for repeat college football playoff? Win another national title. They have to get into that playoff first. Big game with Miami coming up this weekend. SVP will break down who has the inside track in the AFC playoff race. The Monday staple, bad beats from all over the world of sports. Catch it on SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt. Streaming live on the ESPN app.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed as the receiver completed the process of the catch and was down with his left knee before the ball came out. As a result, Baltimore is charged with a timeout and loses their challenge.
John Harbaugh still doesn't agree. Hopkins at the bottom of the screen. He's their money man on the backside of trips. Will they give him single coverage? I doubt it.
Tom Savage, 18 for 30 for 191 yards passing. Handed it off to Lamar Miller, who has the first down. Great opportunity for Savage. He knows with how well Watson played that Deshaun's going to be the quarterback next year. His contract up at the end of the year. Savage, he said, yeah, I want to win for my team now, but it's also an audition. Every time you're out there, you put it on tape.
No doubt.
Can he demonstrate he can be a starting quarterback for somebody else? Now in his fourth year. Out of the University of Pittsburgh after stays at Rutgers and Arizona. Deep throw on target. Hopkins first down deep into Baltimore territory.
I'm telling you, if you're playing the Texans, you can't give him a lot of single coverage on the backside of trips. As soon as the safety comes down, Tom Savage shreds him. And DeAndre Hopkins is having quite a night. And he has burned Jimmy Smith repeatedly. They got to give Smith some help.
39-yard gain, 6th catch for Hopkins for 119 yards receiving. Lamar Miller inside the 20-yard line.
His stamina is incredible. Look at that yardage in the 4th quarter. This man never comes off the field. He plays 99% of the snaps. He's exhausted, but his best work comes in the 4th quarter. 20 yards a catch, 400 yards of real estate. Man.
Each of the last 3 seasons, he's played the highest percentage of his team's offensive snaps of any wide receiver in the league. Always in the very high 90%. Savage throws it away. Pressure applied by Zadarius Smith. Those are the numbers that you appreciate so much. 97% of the snaps, 97, and this year 98%. He never comes off the field.
That's what you're paying for. You're paying for durability, and you're paying people for availability. And the great players, they don't miss much action. And on 3rd down and 4, who's it going to be?
Four-man rush. Savage with time. Lost one toward the end zone. A little bit too far in front of Lamar Miller. With C.J. Mosley in coverage for Baltimore.
C.J. Mosley can do it all. You talked about his football character, but when it comes to playing linebacker, there's nothing he can't do. He can smash you between the hash marks, and he can cover anybody you got. That's a great job flipping your head, looking for the football, but can't play that much better than C.J. Mosley just did. And that's the matchup he's been waiting for. He just can't believe Mosley played it as well as he did.
There's Kaimi Fairbairn. And he's perfect tonight, too. He's 3 for 3 with that 37-yard. 8:36 to go. Houston back within 4 in Baltimore. Baltimore Ravens in prime time under John Harbaugh. His 10 seasons, 11-1. Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night. That is the best record in the league in prime time during that span. They've won 9 in a row. That's the longest winning streak in the league in night games for any NFL team. They're always tough here at home. They've won 74% of all their home games here at M&T Bank Stadium under John Harbaugh. In fact, the only active coach with a better home record is Mike Tomlin.
They're good coaches. 100 wins.
Yep, that's amazing.
10 years. Sure is.
Hoping for number 101. That would combine the regular season and Harbaugh's playoff victories. Last loss in primetime 2010 to the Steelers, and that was a close game, 13-10. This is a close one too. 8:36 to go, and after the touchback, Flacco and the Ravens will start at the 25.
And his Texan run defense has to step up. The big men. Talking to DJ Reader, 98, Brandon Dunn, 92, and 93 Heath. The Ravens been very conservative. They continue to slam the ball. Ravens got to reject some of these running plays and make Flacco throw it.
Draw play to Collins, and Bernardrick McKinney says no way. That's a 2-yard loss.
I might take a timeout. If I see Jadeveon Clowney play linebacker one more time, we got an audible to a pass. We just can't let this man run up the field and have penetration. Another loss of yardage, and this is what you want to do. You want to make this Raven offensive line pass protect. Make this quarterback throw the ball to these receivers who've really been no factor. Jeremy Maclin has no catches. Have not seen Perryman tonight. Can they throw the ball in Baltimore?
A lot of the blame here locally given to Flacco, but this wide receiver crew is underwhelming. Wallace spun down at the line of scrimmage by the local man, Kevin Johnson.
Don't think they have any confidence in this pass protection. It's very conservative, just like they were in the last series in the red zone. And on 3rd down and 12, defensive coordinator Mike Vrabel is known to cover the center and both guards, jam the front, and create a one-on-one for Clowney, who's going to be working at the top of the screen against Austin Howard.
Flacco had time. Again, throws short. And the fans boo. They're tired of seeing this dink and dunk. When you talk to the coaches, they think that Joe has had opportunities this year to throw it down the field and just hasn't spent enough time and energy trying to throw it down there.
Well, there's our guy, 21, Gilchrist, the man you just talked about. He covers that shallow cross with ease. And Houston has forced opponents to 0 for 26 in 3rd down and 10 or more in the last 26.
Here's Cook. And a good punt. Ellington turns the corner. Nice return across the 40 and out of bounds. Excellent field position for Houston, trying to take the lead with 6.5 to go. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Burger King. Try the 2 for $6 Whopper sandwich deal today only at Burger King. Monday Night Football here in Baltimore, December 3rd, 2007. The Patriots in a wild game defeated the Ravens 27-24. New England went to 12-0. Jabbar Gaffney 8 yards from Tom Brady with 44 seconds to go to give New England the win on their way to that perfect 16-0 regular season. Mike Vrabel played on that Patriot team. Dean Pease was the defensive coordinator. People with Patriot roots all over this matchup on both sidelines. Tom Savage in a crowd got it off, and Lamar Miller lunges to midfield. Good gain on 1st down. They got 7 yards.
That's a great play by Savage. Brandon Williams, number 98, explodes into the backfield and crushes Savage, who hung in there and made a nice delivery under fire.
Houston trying to capitalize on its best starting field position of the night. This drive started at their own 43. Miller gets them just across midfield. Really nothing doing there. It's 3rd down and a short 3 for Houston.
And Bill O'Brien did a great job last week with Savage on 3rd down. One of the best 3rd down performances they had, 8 for 15. And I know he's looking for Hopkins at the bottom of the screen. But I think these safeties of the Ravens are wised up. They're going to give help over the top, and if they do, he'll have to look somewhere else.
Texans 5 for 13 on 3rd down tonight. Just a 3-man rush. Hopkins made the catch anyway. It looked like Carr was interfering with him, and there is a flag down, and DeAndre Hopkins still made the catch despite a flag for defensive holding.
Look at his jersey, Sean.
He's saying something to John Harbaugh on the sideline, and Zadarius Smith.
I mean, the whole stadium knows where the ball's going. The Ravens know where it's going, and they can't stop him anyhow.
That penalty is declined as a result of the play as a 1st down.
And he loves it. Believe me, Hopkins, he loves it. He thrives in the 4th quarter. The harder it gets, the better he likes it. And if you're a young receiver or a young football player, that's a mentality you have to be. You have to have that mentality to be great. You want it tough.
Now in his 5th year out of Clemson. I mentioned all the Clemson Tigers. They have 6 players on their team. That includes Deshaun Watson, who's on IR. Out of Clemson. 4-man rush. Savage stripped of the ball. It's Terrell Suggs knocking it free, and now the battle is on.
Unbelievable.
While he prances around, there's still a battle for possession. He might be able to help if he decided to continue the play. Officials conferring they haven't made a call yet. Now it looks like it's going to be Baltimore ball.
There's a fumble with recovery by Baltimore. 1st down.
Terrell Suggs, the heart and soul of the Baltimore Ravens. He explodes off the ball and beats Kendall Lamb. The strip sack.
Wow. His fourth fumble of the year, forced fumble of the year, and for Savage, his 7th lost fumble. That leads the league. They had some chances, did the Texans. With those offensive linemen on the ground, they couldn't corral it. It looked like C.J. Mosley did. Second turnover by Houston. A sack and a forced fumble. 30 strip sacks.
And be ready for Clowney walking around and running through gaps on these early downs.
4:44 to go. 4-point lead for Baltimore. Collins lowers his head and runs over Kevin Johnson and got about 8 yards on the play.
I like him.
Savage started the night tied with Matthew Stafford, the Lions quarterback, for the most lost fumbles. He has that mark all by himself now with 7.
Well, some of those fumbles, if you watch him, I mean, he's got no chance. You get blindsided from behind, but you are right. That's a lot of fumbles, but.
And he's only played.
Yeah, this pass protection for the Texans with these backup tackles.
Savage's numbers of fumbles too, Coach, even that much more alarming when you consider that Watson started 6 games. They slam it into the line with Collins. Whistles were sounding before he went to the ground for forward progress being stopped, so they're going to bring the ball back just across the line of scrimmage, and they'll need a 1.5 yards on this 3rd down. And this would be Tucker's field goal range. I mean, he has the leg to make it from here.
They flipped the ball to Collins. Beautiful play, short yardage in the first half. But keep an eye on his fullback, number 42, Patrick Ricard. 290-pound fullback, rookie out of Maine. He has been the escort tonight.
And Flacco, the play clock about to expire, uses a timeout. 3:13 to go. And more of the same tonight for Baltimore, Coach. The special teams with the huge plays that turned the game in their favor, and now the defense with the big play with just barely enough from the Baltimore offense.
And that's why I like the Ravens. I think the Ravens are a threat to get to the playoffs and be a factor because they have a great defense and they have an outstanding special teams. And I think they can run the football. I just want to see this pass offense make some plays. But can't say enough about Terrell Suggs and his crunch time performances that he has laid down over the years.
John Harbaugh says playing some of the best football of his career at age 35. Moving along the line. Clowney was certainly across the line. Was he drawn off, or is this going to give Baltimore a huge first down?
They got him. Hard count.
Neutral zone infraction. Number 90. Defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Listen to this at home. You got to use some voice inflection to lure these guys off sides. Clowney knows better. Only one thing to do now if you're Houston. You got to threaten the line of scrimmage. You got to reject these running plays. Make Flacco throw it.
And the Texans left to start using their timeouts. Collins ducks down to the 32-yard line, and Bill O'Brien will use the first of his 3 second-half timeouts. .307 to go. Coach, we talked at the very beginning of the telecast about 2 of the best defensive players in the league, in Clowney and Suggs, and both have been a big factor tonight.
Yeah, it's fun to just chart how many ways they can ruin the game. The pressure on the quarterback, the tackles for loss, the batted balls, and Jadeveon Clowney has been outstanding, but Terrell Suggs with that 4th quarter sack, he has taken the lead, and I can't believe he's 35 years old in his 15th season. He is just amazing the way he continues to go and go and go.
Second and 7. Collins to the right again. Cut it back, and he got stood up. Zach Cunningham in the middle of that. Brandon Dunn there as well.
Take a look at Suggs tonight, and that factor great. Here he is on the backside. Makes the tackle. sack. Early in the game, he beat a trap pass. Here's another pursuit tackle. Terrell Suggs, he bats the ball down. You get points for these things. And this sack, you got to add points for the strip. Terrell Suggs, one of the all-time greats. Get a ticket if you're near Baltimore and watch them play. Passion for the game unmatched. I like being around guys like him. He loves football. He played for nothing.
He says he doesn't plan on retiring anytime soon, and why would he? The way he's going. One timeout left for Houston. 3rd down and 8. And Woodhead gets rejected by Benardrick McKinney.
Any credit. 6'4", 250-pound third-year linebacker out of Mississippi State. He plays everywhere. You move Clowney around, you got to move other players around. He's playing defensive tackle for crying out loud. How good a play is that? Plays multiple positions. He's the communicator now of this defense. You see that green dot? He earned his paycheck tonight. Give him credit. What a great effort.
There's a big field goal attempt by Justin Tucker. Put it back to a 7-point lead. This will be a 49-yard try. He's connected from 53, 31. It's 22 out of 25 this year. 2 of the misses this year were from 58 and 62 yards. Oh boy. And he missed dead center by a yard or 2.
Taking the goalpost for this one.
So that's big. Now Houston has to score a touchdown. With no timeouts, 2:53 to go. They will have the 2-minute warning.
And this game could define Tom Savage and the Texans season.
Yep, they have to have this win. Bill O'Brien said realistically we're going to make the playoffs. We have to have this one. 4-7 is going to be a tough record to overcome. We mentioned 5 years in a row, last 5 years, a 4-6 team or worse has made the playoffs. The last year was the Packers, and they had Aaron Rodgers, who said we're going to run the table, and they did to make the playoffs.
Aaron Rodgers ain't here tonight.
No, they don't have Aaron Rodgers. If they had Deshaun Watson,
they got to rely on Savage and his experience, I think, in this system, Sean. He's been here 4 years with Bill O'Brien. He's had a number of injuries, and this is his opportunity. And they're going over the plays right now, but you're going to see Tom Savage at the line of scrimmage. He'll be calling out the formation, hand signaling the routes. Can they block Terrell Suggs and the Ravens? That's the big question.
Oh boy, the placement of that kick.
That's either lucky or really good. I don't know which. I'm going to say really good because it's Tucker. He's breathed a sigh of relief. Look at him.
Well, since he's been in the league 6 years, he's had the same snapper the whole time, Morgan Cox, the same holder, the punter, Sam Cook. They call themselves the Wolf Pack. Took the nickname from the old Hangover movie.
Look at this.
I think he's good. A little lucky perhaps there too.
Let's take a look at Savage. And don't forget, pass protection. Suggs can't wait to see Kendall Lamb at the top of the screen. He beat him bad on the last time.
Suggs is thrown for 243. Ravens have not given up a 250-yard passing game this year against them. They're the only team in the league who hasn't had somebody throw for 250 on them. And now Savage has 250 plus as Fedorowicz has a 9-yard gain.
Got a call. You see him signaling trips. Trips to the right. He wants Hopkins isolated to his left. It'll be a pick aside.
2.5 to go. No timeouts. 2-minute warning. We'll stop it for Houston. Savage down the middle and intercepted. Anthony Levine gave himself up after bringing it back to the 43-yard line.
Turnovers. Dooming Savage. And Anthony Levine, special teams player throughout his career, has become a go-to linebacker in their dime package. He's bluffing the blitz. He's going to bail out of here and make this interception against C.J. Fedorowicz. He flipped his head at the very end. That's a big-time play. 2 interceptions tonight for Savage. And that's the difference in this football game.
Yep, 3 turnovers for Houston. And none committed by Baltimore. For Anthony Levine, his first career interceptions. John said primarily a special teams player and a good one. Their leading special teams tackler. But his 6th year out of Tennessee State, he finally has his first career interception.
Just hung around. He's hung around. Been a big part of Jerry Rosberg's special teams. And when you get an opportunity to play on defense, you deliver.
All right, Scott, thank you. Scott's neck of the woods, the proud Maryland Terrapin. Big night for DeAndre Hopkins, but it looks like it's going to be in a very important loss for the Houston Texans.
They've had
Savage told us last night he's got to stop making the big mistakes if he's going to take the next step.
Yeah, no doubt. And he turned it over 4 times against the Rams. He turned it over a couple times last week against Arizona, and he turned it over 3 times here again tonight. And the number one thing you got to do as a quarterback is take care of the football.
No timeouts for Houston. They could get a stop here. Prevent a first down. They could get the ball back. How about this play? Nobody expecting that. Flacco off to the races, and that should put it in the win column for Baltimore.
I think Joe Flacco did that on his own. I don't think he told a soul. He's tired of watching these Texans gang up on this power play. He fooled everybody, including his coaching staff, I believe. Coach Harbaugh. Way to go, Joe.
They've been through a lot. It was Marty Morningwig, the offensive coordinator. 25-yard gain.
Maybe Marty did call that. I'll bet he did.
Joe Flacco's longest run since 2011. So the Ravens, who were in playoff position until the Bills won in Kansas City yesterday to knock Baltimore out. The Bills moved in. Now the Bills are back out. The Ravens in with a better conference record, but a lot of football to be played for sure. And a crushing loss for the Houston Texans. Now 4-7. A lot of traffic ahead of them. And in their own division, 3 games behind. With all these injuries, hard to expect much more than what these Texans are doing. And if they get Watt back healthy next year and Merciless and have a full season of Deshaun Watson, look out for them as a Super Bowl contender next year.
No doubt. And look out for the Baltimore Ravens. This team is scary. They have a great defense. They have great leadership from Terrell Suggs. The best special teams I've seen all year. And they have a quarterback, if he can heat up, they're formidable.
And the coaching staff played a big part in the win tonight. That fake punt really did turn the entire vibe of this game. 23-16 the final. The Ravens over the Texans. GMC postgame on SportsCenter coming up next. Now for John Gruden, Baltimore's own Lisa Salters, our entire crew. Sean McDonough saying good night from Charm City. We'll see you next Monday night from Cincinnati. Now to preview what you can see on SportsCenter. Here's Scott.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.